On the second paragraph on page Ches.
Rabbi, when the Kayach is revealed from the state of Neisei Kayches, how does that manifest in the world?
Neisei Kayches does not manifest in the world. Neisei Kayches remains attached to the nefesh. The hashpah, the effect of the sun, comes in various forms, in various levels. Then there is the principle that the sun itself is present. The presence of the sun itself provides a very profound reality to the world of Oyer. But it doesn't become part of the world. Its presence itself gives that strength, that there is such thing as Oyer Atzmi. Okay. But now we're talking about in the nefesh, dinya for nefesh, koil koiches, which means, as we discussed yesterday, that a nefesh can relate to the principle of individual and specific koiches. And that ultimately results in koiches pnimiyim, which means individual koiches that have their individual function, individual aim and purpose, intent. Vezeh-hu gamkin hasiba. And this is also the cause. This means the fact that ultimately the nefesh is mitzamtzem, and that's allowing the individual koiches to come forth. This is also the cause. That this chayis pnimi of the nefesh, bo b'bchinas ischalkus beivori haguf. This is a distinct inyan of the koiches. Every koich has its distinct identity. Like Chochmah, Bina, and Das, even koiches of the Meichin, the various koiches of the Meichin are different koiches, and the same thing in Midas. But here we're saying, and so we said that what facilitates the gilu, the identity of each one of these koiches, it is a tzimtzum ha-nefesh, because ultimately the nefesh gives chayas to all the koiches. Therefore, the tzimtzum of the nefesh that provides for the identity of each koich individually. There is also an additional that the oir and chayas pnimi shel ha-nefesh, the chayas pnimi, the deeper, the true chayas of the nefesh, bo b'bchinas ischalkus beivori haguf. The chayas pnimi shel ha-nefesh means that chayas of the nefesh that comes to, that affects, that gives chayas to the guf. Bo b'bchinas ischalkus beivori haguf. It is actually manifest in a his chalkos in the subdivisible manner in the Ivori Haguf. What's a pshat? Sheine b'shovel chol ha'Ivorim. The very highest of the nefesh is not equal in all the Ivorim. Shaharei, since that, einay doim me'oir v'chayes ha'nefesh. K'moi shehu b'roish, u'k'moi shehu b'guf. The oir of the nefesh and the chayes of the nefesh, the way it is manifest, the way it is present in the head, is quite different than the way it is present in the rest of the body. Sheyim heyois, where although sheharois hu kotum bekamus al gabe haguf, although that the head quantitatively is smaller than the body, yet still harei kol gili hanefesh. It still happens that the principal gili of the nefesh, hu beroish dafka, the gili, the manifestation of nefesh, of life, is principally in the head. Uberegel, and in the foot, hachayos b'midu b'yeser. In the foot, the chayos is very much reduced. You're not talking about the koiches that are contained in the earth. Simply the chayos element, the sensitivity, the life element itself. In the head is much greater than in the foot. Vezeh-hu, and that is mipnei shehagilu yidei v'chayes hanefesh. It is due to the fact that the revelation and the manifestation of the oil and chayes hanefesh hu lifiyoy von hakelim. It is in accordance. It is approximating the kelim themselves. And he elaborates on this, which means shachayus bo b'bchinas islapshut utfisom, that the chayus itself, besides the koiches, but the life element that the nefesh provides for the guf, is also b'bchinas islapshut utfisom. Is also in a slapshus manner and a grasp manner. In other words, it becomes part and parcel of the guf. Lefi mezigas hakeli, and that is lefi mezigas hakeli, according to the structure of the cave canal. Alkain, and therefore lefiei from dakos hakli hu gilu ed hanefesh. According to the dakos hakli, of the refinement and the sensitivity of the keli, gentleness of the keli, hu gilu and hanefesh, in proximity to that, the oil hanefesh is manifest. The horoish hu b'misigo v'harkovo b'bchinas chemer dak. The roish, the head, is a combination of combination of different qualities, but b'chinas chemer dak, of a very fine material. The mishum zeh, where therefore hu keli muchon yesel eir v'chayes hanefesh. It is thus more suitable for the oil and chayes hanefesh, for the light and the chayes hanefesh. It is more sensitive to the chayes hanefesh. Al-kei, and therefore, may yirshom oil hanefesh begilo yoser. The oil of the nefesh shines there in the head, begilo yoser, in greater revelation, in greater effect. The hainu, which actually means Shemeyirim Shom Kol HaKoiches HaNalim Shebenefesh. That there in the head come forth with full brightness all the supreme koiches of the nefesh. Okay, so we have to put it just to understand what is what's the focus over here. Yes, indeed, in the head are the superior koiches. Chochmah, which is the most sensitive. Chochmah is a koyach that is clearly a manifestation of nefesh per se. There is no goof involvement in Chochmah. In Bina, you could say that there is a resistance and a question, and you try to identify things. Chochmah is just the reality itself. It's really pure nefesh, even though it is in the brain, in the head. So although that this can be identified, this can be attributed, the different chayos in the head, attributed to the koiches that are in the head, but these koiches functioning in the head are not imprisoned in the head. They're not out of place in the head. They're in the head because they belong there. Because the head provides a proper environment for these koiches. How does the head provide a proper environment for these koiches? Because the head, as such, is more inclined to sense and to provide a place for the oil v'chayas hanefesh, to the life element of the nefesh, and to the refinement and the ruchnius of the nefesh. This is why these koiches find their expression in the head. Even though, yes, indeed, these are individual koiches, and in within there's individual organs, but the fact that they are in the head is not out of kilter. In other words, they're there imprisoned. They can't relate to the abode where they were placed. They do relate to it, because the chayes hanefesh in general is revealed in the head more than any place else. This is why the head is a suitable dwelling for all these koiches, for these finer evodim.
Before this sif, we had that the evodim are kalim for the koiches. And it seems like at the beginning of the shir, this is a different union, chayes pnimi is a different union. And so at the one hand we're saying that the evodim are kalim for the koiches, and that's why you can have slapshus akoiches in the kalim. And now we're saying that the reason why we can have slapshus akoiches by kalim is not by evodim is not because the evodim are kalim, but because the chayes pnimi is meir.
No. The second part is correct, but the first part is not correct. Yes, as I said, the koiches are mislapshin in the evodim because the evodim are proper kalim for the koiches. But why are the evodim in these evodim in the head? The fact that they're in the head is something. There's a proper abode. The head provides the environment in which these evodim can function and these koiches can function. And that is the overall Chayes HaNefesh. It's a living place. A very suitable illustration of this concept is you sit down to learn. And there is a tremendous difference if you learn in Beis Medrash or you learn in some on the train. It's not a terrible place, but it doesn't compare. If you learn in 770, it's a different kind of learning. Because the environment is suited for this. If you learn in your office, you can't sense the sensitive part of the learning the way you would sense it in the Beis Medrash. This is on a very superficial level. It's chitzonius mamash, but nevertheless there is the effect of it. The head is a proper environment, a proper place for these final koiches. Why? Because in the head, it's sensed, in the hand is sensed that there is a living nefesh there. In the foot is not that sense, that clearly sensed. They see that there's a living nefesh.
We didn't have that before. In other words, before we also said that we're talking about the Yivarim, that they're proper keli for the koiches.
Then we're talking to Yivarim, proper keli for the koiches. Now we're talking why these Yivarim are in the head. In other words, the nefesh in general is in the goof. This is the chayes nefesh. It gives a general chayes to the goof. From that perspective, you would say the hand and the head and the foot are all alive. It's true, they're all alive. And because the goof is alive, this is why it is able to accept chayes pnimi or koiches pnimi, because it's a general, it's a living goof. But within that living goof element, there are subdivisions. The very life element that the nefesh provides for the goof is different in different parts of the goof.
Because I thought before we talked about the eye. The eye is a fitting keli for the ear because the translucence of the eye. It wasn't just the fact that the eye is a living eye, but it was because of the composition of the eye.
Yeah, David, you were talking in terms of one keli versus another keli. But clearly, those differences themselves would not invite the koiches hanefesh. They have to be alive. Which is like we said all in the beginning, that all the koiches are mislavish in the goof because the goof is a suited place for the nefesh. The nefesh relates to the goof in general. As a result of that, there is also the koiches. And each koich suited to find its own keli in which it is suitable. But the very oil of chayes nefesh, the very life element of the nefesh itself, which is seemingly equal in all over throughout the group. It is seemingly equal everywhere, but still not exactly equal. The chayes nefesh is much more sensed in the head than everywhere else in the group.
Or is it seemingly equal all over?
the chayas, the very fact that every part of the guf is alive.
Which is like akin to Ratzon? Or
No, just chayas, alive, not dead.
that's, that enlivens the whole body, but it's yet the head is most sensitive to it.
Right.
When you say chayus, it means that it's felt. It's felt. You feel it. Is it together? Chayus, it's felt. Like, I'm trying to, when you say the head versus there's more chayus in the head, I'm trying to feel the breath and listening to you and looking at you and feeling my fingernails. And so basically, when you say everything is alive, it's uneven, but it's alive. So my question is, if just feeling it, that means it's a part of living. Just feeling it, having a recognition of that, mixed with feeling, felt, sensation. Is that what you mean by life?
Again, I don't know exactly what you're trying to say. Yes, only a living thing has sensation.
Okay. How do you living? How do you break down the word of
Rami.
Yeah.
You will not understand it with your goof. You have to understand it with your brain, with your seichel. That's the whole point. Whatever we feel with our goof is not going to tell us the principle that we're trying to understand.
It's mixed with the seichel, of course. I understand what you're
The
saying.
seichel doesn't feel the fingers, the nails.
No, but it's right here in the head that we feel the sensations of every little, avaya that's happening in the body. Everything.
All right. Again, I'm saying to you, this is not a sensation element. This is a seichel element.
Okay, I understand. Mm-hmm.
What we explain here is why is it that the brain is in the head, not in the stomach or in your foot? And the answer is because in the head there is much more of the nefesh than in the stomach. The head relates to nefesh much more readily than the stomach does, or the foot does. Even though they're all alive, without life, they will dissipate. The heart has an enormous amount of chayas, disseminates chayas throughout the whole body. Yet, the chayas initially comes to the brain, and it is the brain that encourages the heart to do its thing. The heart is a pump, according to medical, to physical description. The heart is a pump that is constantly um, accepting blood, pushing the adrenaline, accepting more, pushing blood. It's a pump that processes blood through it, and then it goes throughout the entire body. That's what the heart is. But this pumping is not a nervous twitch. This pumping is an intended pumping to give chayas. What directs the heart to do this? It is the brain. Because the whole principle of chayas is felt in the brain. The heart said, well, I'm lazy, I don't want to pump. I said, come on, wake up. You don't understand what you're doing. This unique sensitivity to chayus that's in the brain is exclusively in the brain because of the koiches slavish in the brain. And and this brain is housed in the head. Why in the head? Because the head is the place where the chayus, when principally the head senses the chayus nefesh, life, rather than goof. The stomach feels goof.
The head senses, in contrast to the brain.
The brain is housed in the head. Why is the brain in the head?
We just said because the head senses the pumps.
Sure. In the head, the Yin HaChayis is manifest much more than any other place in the body. But you're right. It would seem to us that it's due to the brain. But why is the brain in the head? Is the brain out of place in the head? Or is it in its own abode? Will you relate to it? This is a very sensitive thing to understand. This is why I give the example. You sit and learn. And it makes a difference in what environment you live in. Yes.
Well, I was just saying that this goes against the idea that the body is just a piece of meat. In other words, it's a living, even the goof is just,
Okay, our time is up for this morning. Okay. This is it for this morning. That's a new one, huh?
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Okay, have a great day. Oh boy.
Stand